This isn't a video that many traders would make. I've seen very few traders talk about their biggest losses or their worst experiences in trading, so I'm going to make that video for you today. You've probably seen on the channel, if you are a subscriber, I've had 50k days, I've had 30k days, 25k days. I've had a lot of big profitable days. Many of those come from funded accounts. But what happens when it doesn't go right with my personal funds that we're talking about here? I'm going to talk about a day from 2022. And this was my biggest loss. It wasn't my biggest monetary loss because obviously I've traded with bigger accounts, but the way I used to trade back in 2022, 2021 was slightly different to how I trade now. The strategies, again, very similar, but I used to do something that I used to call fun accounts. So I'd have my main accounts, I'd have my prop firm accounts, and I consistently make profit on those, and I consistently withdraw from those accounts. But I'd also put in £3,000 to £5,000 into a live account with, 1 to 30, 1 to 500 leverage, depending on the account, depending on how much I was feeling I wanted to risk in that time period. And what I would do is I'd trade this account up to 10k or 15k, and then I would withdraw the profits and then start over and over again. And I would kind of repeat these steps. Anyone watching this video, please do not do this. It is not advisable, and anyone that thinks that would be a good idea needs to firstly evaluate who they're speaking to and who they're actually hearing their trading advice from. And this video is purely entertainment purposes only. I'm showing you the mistakes I made a couple of years ago so you guys don't make the same mistakes in your own trading. With these accounts, I was obviously not using amazing risk management. I was comfortable losing that 3k or that 5k. And the reason is it was just fun for me. I thought I was an amazing trader and it was good fun. It's just like people who gamble, they go to the casino, they bet on football games, it's exactly the same thing. But obviously trading is slightly different, but it can be seen as the same sort of game. Just going to give you some context on the day. It wasn't an ordinary day in the markets, which kind of made the situation a hell of a lot worse, and it made the loss a lot worse than expected. So the day was the 24th of February 2022. One notable thing about this day, it was actually when I got this side of my arm tattoo done, right? So this first side, 2021, this second side, the wolf, was in 2022 on February the 24th. And also what happened on this day, Russia invaded Ukraine. You can probably see where we're going with this one. Russia invades Ukraine, tattoo. Okay, so there's a lot of volatility in the markets, obviously from a big country invading another country. It's going to cause a lot of volatility, especially a country with so much power as Russia. And also a tattoo, which means I've only got one arm ready to trade in operation. So one arm's on this side, however many needles stuck in with ink, and one side I've just got my phone. And this is kind of where the trading did kind of get out of hand. So I do have my confirmation from the broker to show you guys in the email, rather than showing you the accounts and stuff, because I don't have this account anymore. I probably just deleted it after the event just because I didn't want memories of this. Lessons were learned, let's just say that. If I just show you on the charts here, in the early hours of the morning, we see there's already price pushing up. So we went from 1912 to 1930 or around that area in around 2 hours. So if we then play price a little bit further on, you see the next candle goes right up to 1949. So in 3 hours, we've already gone up 400 pips, which is a lot of volatility, especially at 4 a.m. And then we obviously dropped down a little bit, but around this time was actually when I was waking up, and this initial push up on these few candles here, I made some profits, and I made around 400, 500 pounds profit. So I was thinking, okay, it's great. Tattoo's completely paid for in the morning. Haven't even got to the tattoo place yet. Perfect. I've made my profits, made a few £100s, but that's never the case. And I got very greedy. So you see this next push up, I just tried to keep buying. You've probably seen it with a lot of NFP traders, traders that don't have experience trading NFP. Obviously this is a bit different because it is what they consider a black swan event, because no one really knows what's going to happen. No one expected the gold to fly up when Russia invades Ukraine, because I don't think anyone was expecting Russia to invade Ukraine exactly at that time. So how can you predict it? Let's say you're in short positions, you wake up, Russia's invaded Ukraine, boom, your short positions are blown. So it's obviously quite hard to actually predict what's going to happen when the markets are like this. And this is why you need to use correct risk management and you need to trade responsibly. But I kept trying to buy. And as price was going up, I kept trying to buy. And as you see what happens here, it did not buy. So let's just say that after I started buying, some of my buys were quite high, which we'll go over in a second. But from the peak to the bottom here, we dropped down around 960 pips, around that sort of amount, which again, if you think, okay, maybe my stop losses were big, I don't think any stop loss is that big, especially with the account size and the lot sizes I was trading for gold. My stop loss definitely wasn't 1,000 pips. Let's just say that. Let's get that out there. But as we see, it just played on. And if we play price on, you can see that, we probably eventually went back to the entry. But was I going to hold this trade in drawdown thousands and thousands of pounds into March when there's so much uncertainty? Absolutely not. Imagine the swap charges, imagine everything. I probably would have quit trading. It wasn't that extreme because obviously this was just my fun account, but something happens like this where you lose a large percentage of your account. I didn't actually blow the account, which is probably surprising, but the way I do it is, let's say I get the account from 3K to 8K. I'll then risk 2 or 3K per trade, or even 3 or 4K per trade. So the worst case scenario, I still end up after losing back at break even, or break even from my initial deposit, so that I can then lower the risk again and go from the start. That's kind of the way I did it, and it did work a lot. Obviously, when I got to the stage where I was getting tens of thousands of pounds in payouts and prop firms and other businesses were starting to take off, it was quite different because I knew that with a large prop firm account size, I didn't have to put in so much money to risk, thousands and thousands of pounds on a small personal account. The logic behind that was £500 and I can buy a 100k funded account. And let's say I make 10% profit after passing both phases, I then made £5,000 and then I'm risk free. So I've got £5,000 back. So I've technically made a 10x return on my investment. And plus I've received the initial challenge fee in the first place back. So after that had kind of prop firms became very, very popular. Obviously I passed my first prop firm in 2021, but they became much more popular in 2022 and made more popular obviously by less strict rules, no time limit. Back when I was trading, you only had 30 days to pass. So even if you were a great trader, sometimes you'd have to continuously retry challenges because you just can't pass in 30 days for the majority of people. Even if you make 5, 6, 7% in a month, you were doing great as a trader. But on a prop firm, you couldn't pass and you kept having to retry, which is not a great situation to be in. Especially, the mental challenge of obviously trading a prop firm too. Doing all that effort to then have to start from zero again the next month can be annoying. So I was obviously still doing this fun account. And now let's go on to the broker statements here. So like I said, the first few trades of the morning, buys at 1940. If we look back here, that was at around this area. So I obviously caught this push up here. But then I started buying. Obviously I started with small lots, 0.2. It's relatively small. And as you see here, I entered a 0.6, which is triple the lot size of the normal trades. And as you see, this is what overconfidence does. You get in loads of trades here and they all win. So when you get in a trade after all those winners, you can get overconfident, you can get greedy, triple the lot size on that particular trade, and then price did not go into profit. And then it just kept dropping. So obviously, you'll see this a lot with traders. They'll try to scale into losers to recoup their profits or their lost profits. And it obviously means if you're scaling into a loser, price doesn't have to go as high for you to be at break even again. So this is obviously my thought process behind it at the time, which again, not advisable. But you see some of these entries here, even some of the winners, I was entering at 1969, which as you see, 1969, I won a trade entering up here, which is absolutely crazy. But the loser, the main loser, which was, a £1,700 loss, I entered at 1944. So you see, as price was dropping down here, I entered when it was free falling. Often people say you shouldn't try and catch a falling knife. And this was very, very much the case for this trade. And as price kept dropping, I continuously tried to buy. So when price is going up, great, I was making money. Just like in a bull market in stocks, everyone's a winner, everyone's a stock expert when price is going up. Everyone is a crypto expert when there is a bull market. Exact same thing happened with me. And when price was dropping back down, I was trying to get into the trade and it just wasn't happening. Another mistake. I put extra cash into the account, an extra £2,000 to give myself some margin to then enter more buy positions. As you see, the buy positions were just getting lower and lower. We started in 1944, then we were down to 1935, 1923, 1906, 1902, 1887, and it accumulated to around £4,100 in closed P&L. But I obviously did have a trade here that I was running in £1,000 profit, open profit. So the account we started at 7,500 and we obviously had £4,000 in closed P&L, which isn't great. So there's a lot that you can learn from this, and I am making this video just to show that traders make mistakes. Obviously, this isn't how I trade now, and it hasn't been how I've been trading for the last few years. As you've probably seen on the channel, back in 2021, 2022, I was doing account flips because I thought it was fun. I've never recommended anyone does account flips because that would be very, very stupid. But I also think that people that tell you to do account flips and people that promote account flips are basically setting you up for failure. I did it at the start for entertainment, for myself. I was flipping accounts. I thought people would love to see account flips. When I started Forex, I would always watch those account flip videos, but I obviously never recommended it. And seeing the results here, obviously everyone sees the good account flips, but when it does go bad, obviously this wasn't a blown account. I was, only 4 grand down. Obviously I say only 4 grand, but I still had, a few £1,000s in the account at the end of the day. Obviously it did help at the start of the day. I had a few winning trades, but again, it's not a great situation losing £4,000 in a day. If you look at it, the average person in the UK, that's 2 months salary after tax. So 2 months salary just gone in a day because I had one arm out here trying to trade on my phone with one hand. If you're trying to trade on your phone with one hand, whilst also having 13 needles stuck in your arm for 12 hours, I think the session was, it is not a great situation to be in. And, even if you do like pain, having physical pain and mental pain at the same time is not a great combination, unless you are a bit crazy. That is all I had to say for this account. And if you did find this quite funny, you can laugh all you want at my mistakes in the comments. You can call me a terrible trader. I do not care. Just get it all out in the comments, all your thoughts. And yeah, can't wait to see them. But do not flip your account. Use proper risk management. Lower your risk if you're struggling. Lower your risk if you are in drawdown. I'll catch you guys next time.